Saratoga County, nestled in the heart of New York State, is a slice of pure charm. This picturesque destination brims with unique attractions: a legendary horse racing track, flowing mineral springs, historical landmarks, and much more. But there's another draw that sets Saratoga County apart: a vibrant beer and brewing scene bubbling with local pride, craft, and creativity. My name's Cass Enright. Let's have a quick beer in Saratoga County, New York. Let's kick things off in Saratoga Springs, the county's largest and most well-known town. Here, grand mansions line the boulevards and Broadway hums with boutiques and restaurants and beautifully preserved architecture. Everywhere you turn, Saratoga's horse racing roots come to life in statues and memorabilia. And if you need a refresh, the active springs are ready to offer a quick sip. Saratoga Springs is the county's nightlife hub, with a thriving scene that includes 2 standout breweries and many bars and restaurants. Let's dive into the first stop, Whitman Brewing. Whitman isn't just a brewery. It's what I like to call a beer resort. This multi-level, multi-use space offers a laid-back atmosphere with plenty to explore. I'm here at the beautiful Whitman Brewing in downtown Saratoga Springs with Sam. Sam, thanks a lot for taking the time to chat with me tonight.
Absolutely.
So why don't you tell me about how Whitman got started and about this great space?
So Whitman is the brewing side, and then we also have a cafe called Walt Cafe that combines together to make Walt Cafe. Whitman Brewing, Walt and Whitman is what we're known as here. We kind of give you that full experience here with being able to come in the morning and get your coffee and breakfast sandwich, stay for lunch at Whitman Brewing, and then hang out at dinner. We do a lot of live music, and you can chug a few beers, which is great. You can sit in any of our rooms. We have 4 or 5 spaces. You can kind of walk around, pick and choose. You can be next to the music. You can go kind of casually hang out with your family downstairs. You can do your work upstairs in the morning. You can come back later. We just give this really cool variety of beers and experience and food. It's really good for any time of day, any occasion.
This is a historic property in Saratoga Springs, and it housed something pretty significant in town. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So another cool thing about our brewery is just the space. We aren't that, I guess, typical warehouse brewery that you kind of see. We are in a historic building. There's a lot of really cool stonework and brickwork. I believe it was 1901 is when this building was built, which was the Saratogian newspaper, where downstairs were the printing presses and upstairs were all the offices. And after the Saratogian went bankrupt, we decided to come into the building and produce something else for the town, which is beer. So,
2 important things. People needed their news, and now people need the beer.
Absolutely.
So it's a great tradition continuing. Okay, well let's talk about the beers your beers. So. I had a West Coast, which I really enjoyed. It has a really nice bite to it, which I love out of the West Coast. I'm about to have a Mexican lager. So you want to just talk about your beer selection? So
I guess, in this rising, trendy beer industry that we're kind of in after, 2014, you kind of see these breweries leaning towards one style, especially us, in the Northeast. We get to make all different styles. I think what's great about breweries that I go to is being able to go to a brewery and just be satisfied with every single style that they make. That's really what we strive for here. So our board, we have 16 draft lines. We just want to make sure there is something for everybody. So whether it's a red ale that we have on right now, or it's our multiple lagers, we have a great lager program. We have a German Pilsner on the board. We have a Festbier lager from our Oktoberfest. We have a Mexican lager, an American lager, American light lager, black lager. We have a Vienna lager in the tank.
Yeah.
Obviously all of our hazy IPAs, West Coast IPAs, fruited Goza, fruited sours. We just want to make sure, we're really confident with what we're putting out. And I think for someone to be able to come here and get all these different styles.
Yeah. Can you tell me about just what the beer scene's like in Saratoga County?
Yeah.
Is it collaborative, like everybody knows each other?
I would say yes. So there's a very small chance that breweries, and I think there's probably 50 at this point in an hour. It's ridiculous in New York. And I do think New York has, in my opinion, it's probably the best beer state in the United States. Very opinionated, but I do think we make the best beer. I would say most of the breweries in an hour radius, we are at least on like a knowing basis, and most of them are like a first name hangout basis. We're all very close. We share ingredients, we share ideas, we are there for each other. Our goal is just to make sure we can co-promote and we can be there for each other.
I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today. Beer's great so far. This is a great start to my Saratoga quick beer, and yeah, thanks a lot for chatting today.
Absolutely, really appreciate it.
Next, we head to Druthers Brewing, a vibrant tap room right on Broadway. It's their original location, and they've since expanded statewide. With a dozen beers on tap and an inviting alley-like patio, Druthers is the perfect spot to soak in Saratoga's charm. The nearby Henry Street Taproom is a classic beer bar experience. With 16 taps showcasing brews from New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, and abroad, this bustling tavern sadly closes at 10 p.m., leaving you wishing for just one more pint. But Dive, a cozy bar and late-night hotspot on Broadway, has you covered. With 12 taps, beer labels plastered on the walls, Polaroids of patrons, and board games, Dive feels like your cool friend's basement. Saratoga Springs is as scenic as it is spirited. By day, thriving local culture awaits. By night, it's a tasty beer adventure. But don't believe Saratoga Springs is all the county has to offer. It's outside of downtown where you'll find some true beer and brewing gems. In our next episode, we'll venture to the nearby towns of Ballston Spa, Malta, Schuylerville, and beyond. A quick beer in Saratoga County is just getting started, so stay tuned.